Hey up, Front Row Racing DP here, and as you can see I'm on rfactor2 on PC, usually a PS4 player, but I thought I'd give this a go. So we've got a replay here of my first ever laps on rfactor2, and we're going to be in a man of Marussia. And I'd just quickly like to point out, hello twins, I wonder if you two know that you're actually that close to each other. For all we know, they could be two fans from two different parts of the world that just happen to look like each other. But anyway, so rfactor2, I got the game, I turned it on, I gave it a go. After hours and hours of trying to get the cars downloaded and finding out it was a hell of a lot easier than I thought it was, and so I've had a little bit of a go. Now it did take me a few laps to get to grips with the steering, because the steering was very, very light. And I also had to remember that I physically have to turn it out of the pit garage. So yeah, it took me a few laps to just get to grips with getting the wheels set up, although it's not completed. And also, I was a little disappointed at first, because I came out of the pits and I'm like, well hang on, it won't speed up. I was like, oh god, it's not bloody working. Oh well, that's great, innit? I've just spent hours and hours getting this car installed, and now it's not working. So I start frantically pressing load of buttons and seeing a load of menus pop up, and then oh, pit limiter's turned off now, and I probably should have left it on. But there we go. So yeah, pit limiter, that's something that obviously as a console user I've not really had to deal with before, but I like the idea of it. So we'll do a bit of an outlap here. This is my first ever drive on rfactor2. I am willing to show what my first drive was like around the Silverstone circuit, and if we look graphically, the cars look fantastic, or at least this car looks fantastic. But I think some people on consoles may feel that the F1 series, the surrounding areas looks a bit prettier, but I mean I'm running quite good graphics cards and things like that, so it does look pretty good. But it's the smaller details which I think are more noticeable on this. So let's see how we get on through Maggots and Beckett's. Sideways is how we get on through Maggots and Beckett's. Now I didn't play about with the actual car setup or anything like that, not until much later on, where I just added a tiny little bit of aerodynamics. So like I say, it took me a fair few laps, about 5 to get the wheel feeling right, and then I did about another 25 laps. Of which I'm not going to show everything. I'm going to show this first lap, I'm going to show the last lap that I did, and then I am possibly going to add in some interesting moments that I had, and then a little special feature at the end just for the fun of it. Now I will admit, by the time I got to the end of my stint of playing this, I wanted to play more, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning, so I had to stop. Right, okay. So there's a look at our first lap, so let's go and have a look at how we get on in 28 laps time. Okay, so on to what'll be lap 30, and by this point I'm getting to grips a little bit with the car, with the game. Still haven't made any drastic setup changes. All I have done is increased my front and rear aerodynamics a little bit and assigned a DRS button, which has helped. Now, as I mentioned, by this point it was quite early in the morning, so I'm still not fully up to speed. I'm nowhere near up to speed at the moment, but hopefully you'll see that my racing lines are a little bit better. And also by this point I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with how the car needs to be driven and how the game wants you to drive the cars. I've still got a lot to learn, but I was enjoying it quite a lot. Like I say, I could have carried on for a long time if it wasn't so early in the morning. And if it weren't for me being busy over the next couple of days, I'd probably be on it all day, every day. I mean, I spent most of today learning how to record replays instead of doing everything else that I was supposed to be doing. But yeah, so rfactor2, my initial thoughts on it, especially in this car, very nice, a little tricky, and something I didn't mention earlier. Well, I mentioned about the little details. through my 30 laps, there were certain points where all of a sudden my wheel started shaking uncontrollably. Well, it was controllable, but it was horrible. And I was trying to work out what it was. And it wasn't until I slowed down a little bit that I could see the great big dirty lock-up patch on the tyre. And that's what it was. It was the steering was vibrating because of the flat spot. And that for me is a fantastic touch. You punish your tyres, it'll punish your hands. So yeah, very nice touch though, I like that. And it also shows that you're doing something a little bit wrong. So anyway, there was lap 30. Now I am going to keep it going for the moment because I thought, right, okay, let's push it. We need to find some lap time. But like I said, I've not played about with setups or anything like that. I've done absolutely nothing with it. Don't know what works for making it go quicker. The car is pretty much as it is out of the box, except for a little bit of extra aerodynamics on it. So yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, let's push a little bit now. And as you may notice, if you look at the track, you've got real road conditions. So the more driving you do, the more rubber goes down, the grippier the track is. And that's something that really F1 on consoles need to incorporate. Because it can have a massive effect on levels of grip. Now I do know that in like 50%, 100% races you do see more of an apparent racing line, but I don't know whether you actually feel the benefits of the grip, although you do feel the lack of grip when you're offline. So anyway, really pushing through Maggots and Beckett's now up until this point, and we're off and nearly upside down. Now how I ended up with wheels not popping off, I don't know, but there we go. Right, what I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to search through the whole of this video because it was a good sort of half hour, 40 minutes long, and I'm going to pick out a couple of moments just to show you, and then after that I'm going to show you a little treat, something else that's on the game, which I thought I would show you. So don't go away just yet. Okay, now you've had a bit of a laugh at me spinning off a few times. It's time to do something a little bit different on the Silverstone National Course. Now I said I'd show you a little extra feature here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I couldn't resist doing it, you know. After I've been driving the F1 car, I thought, you know what, I've got to do this. I can't help it. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. This should be fun. I'm not sure if fun is how I would describe it. So let's go truck racing. Now you're just going to have to try and work out which one I am. All I'll tell you is I'm one of the ones that's got number 2 on the screen in a red truck. I am one of them somewhere. So you're probably just going to have to wait until you see any carnage. Now I will admit I absolutely filled the grid here with 40 odd cars. Before, let's see what my computer's capable of. And these trucks are absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. There's nothing else to describe it really. And you should be able to by now just about be able to perhaps work out which one I am. If not, you will do any moment. There we go, Sapsa number 2 overtaking Sapsa number 2. I will admit I've never driven anything like these trucks here. Very odd vehicles, and when it comes to the braking, oh my days, all that corner. I just hope these trucks haven't got to deliver loo rolls anywhere, because they ain't going to make it. It's as simple as that. These are proper sort of tail happy beast. The steering was rather odd on them, because you get part of around the corner and it seems to steer more forward. But I think it's a case of these trucks perhaps need a bit of opposite lock. Yeah, it takes a while to properly get used to driving these vehicles. If you hold a horn now, it wasn't going to get it won't sort outside. So yeah, 3 laps around Silverstone National in these monsters. And drifting around the outside. He's going to make that move stick, so here it's me. But yeah, not a bad move, that one. That's about as good as it gets, I think. Looking up the inside into the first part of Baggers Beckett's. Yeah, that's not going to go well. The track overweight. 7 laps forward. That's it. Good back. To the right. The track's over there somewhere. And we'll slat into this again. Yeah. Do. So yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say about these trucks. I think it's mental. This ain't gonna go well. You just know it. Oh, there you go. Now, everyone also says I don't fire the box. There is a little bit of visual damage on my trucks, but physical damage, definitely is when you feel it in your wheel, with the tyres being affected and things like that. So yeah. Sort of visual effect compared to physical effect, slightly different, but at the end of the day it's the physical effect you really need. But then when I was driving the F1 car earlier, you really could see what was happening with the tyres, which is really good. Obviously with these trucks you can't see what's happening with the tyres because they're covered up, but I think it's fair to say mine are going to be knackered. Oh yeah, we'll face you the way. Oh, hello driver. Okay, we're backing up the road, shall we? Turn. And we'll get so yeah, slightly interesting bit of driving there. Like I say, these trips are very sort of I think to be fair, I've probably knackered the tyres. Sort of I did try and drive it properly, but instead we'll go drifting around Brooklands. Must have been at that point I was thinking, I could have left all the vehicles off, so I could have just gone drifting it all around on my own, but then where would the fun be in that? A few of them peeled off into the pit. This is the right side. I just thought, they're trying to cheat, sneaky. You know what? But then some of them won't actually make it to the finish line. But there we go, that's, I think, is lap 3, it is. Oh, we've got a crash going on into turn 1, even though the race has finished. I will admit, I did something stupid. We've got the flags waving now to signal the end of the race. And I just kept going. I thought, let's just keep driving, shall we? And it turned out to be a bad idea. Well, I nearly parked it nicely. Let's follow him round to the end. We'll get there. Oh god, not another overtaking to Brooklands. It hasn't worked on any occasion yet. Oh, that's not me, that's someone else. Oh god, I'm there. Oh no, you know someone's getting named here. Hold your breath. Oh, only gave him a minute. That's not too bad then. Although his rear bumper is now stuck into the front of mine. All round the outside, getting cheeky, getting sideways up the inside. Go on, get out of the way. Although the race is over and I've missed the bloody pit lane. So I've actually got to continue on to do another lap. Oh dear. Oh no. I was about to say I need to continue on to do another lap so I can actually drive it into the pits. Which I'm definitely going to have to do now, but the tyres are knackered. Those brake marker boards aren't as big as the trucks, they're just closer than the truck is. But yeah, I mean, overall so far on the two bits of driving I've done on here, I think my right front wheel is knackered. It looks like it's at an odd angle. Oh, look at that tyre wobble on them. Yeah, I mean, the F1 car found it quite enjoyable. Just need to get up to speed. These trucks are just bloody mental. Just a bit of fun, really. Oh god, it spitted it there again. At least there's nobody around us to crash into this time. And it looks like we are back in the pits now. I think I may have hit escape. So there we are. There's my first runs on rfactor2.